Hey everybody, thanks for putting up with my silliness last week. This week, our episode is brought to you by the JKWD podcast. It's a Josh and Kelvin World Domination podcast where we talk about better humanhood and learning how to dominate your world. We release every Monday early in the morning, so you can go subscribe. Check it out at jkwdpodcast.com. You'll be able to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Well, not SoundCloud, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or Player FM, or wherever you want to get your podcast except for SoundCloud, because we don't go there. Anyway, yeah. Let's do the show. Hey, like I said, thank you for dealing with that weirdness last week. It was fun, though. I actually scared the hell out of myself twice putting that show together. Right at the end there, that last helicopter going up sounded a little too real before it got shot down. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to joshshare.com/podcasts and listen to episode 40. Man, it was short, but it was weird. That's why I'm not recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning, so that I don't do that again. Because I got to be honest, I am suffering from a severe case of paranoia. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of January. The show comes out on Thursday, the 19th of January. Happy birthday to my dad. If you are listening, if you can, still put up with my voice after all this time. Yeah, you've been listening to me talk for, 39 out of these 40 years and all that stuff. So, thank you for doing that, and thank you for being you. And we'll see you for lunch. You've probably already seen us by the time you hear this. I don't know when you listen, if you listen. Also happening Friday, Donald Trump will be inaugurated at 12:01 p.m. or like 12 noon and a second or something weird. However, this got written into the Constitution, but now our clocks are so much better than they were those 240 years ago. Like I said, I'm feeling a real sense of paranoia. You're just going to have to deal with that for the next 4 years if they let me keep talking. They might not, but that's where paranoia comes from. So, my wife's car died about 2 weeks ago. We think we got a new car picked out for her, but that process is long, especially when we're both working. And so I haven't really been anywhere. So you've been taking my car to work. So I haven't really been anywhere out of the house that I can't walk to, which is, basically the gym, a church we don't belong to, a bunch of houses where I don't know anybody. So it would be weird if I showed up there. And then, some other, I guess I could walk over to my little neighborhood bar, but I would probably just use that to feed the paranoia even more. At least I'm not looking out my people yet. I'm not covering up my cameras on my laptop. So that's coming soon. I can feel it. We had this conversation last night at work. About how we probably should do that. So who knows? I'd like to think that everything's going to be just fine, but I really don't think it is. I've been watching V for Vendetta every night. That's not helping. I don't know. So, few things that are relevant, and these are non-partisan. I'm bringing this up because it's important, and I'm approaching it with a scientific non-judgment, and that's what I ask you to do. I do not think that Barack Obama, was the big hope that we thought he'd be, or that some of us thought he'd be, but he's certainly not the worst president ever. is certainly not the worst thing to happen in this country, despite what some people might say. I mean, even just in recent memory, we had a president quit because he was too corrupt to hold office any longer. We've lived through the Great Depression and the Civil War, and hell, the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence was fucking his slaves. So, get a little perspective on get a little perspective on what's good and what's bad. What we do know is that I'm gonna cite Real Clear Politics here, because what they do is they take polls and they average them. So they'll take from Rasmussen and Gallup and Quinnipiac and whoever else is recording, Fox News, MSNBC. So they'll take a dozen polls and they'll average them. So Obama is leaving office with a 55% approval rating, a favorable rating. I won't say approval because that's not the language they used. 55% favorable rating, 41% unfavorable rating. His lowest of the polls was from The Economist magazine, a 51% favorable rating. Highest was a 62% favorable rating from Rasmussen. Donald Trump comes into office with the lowest favorable ratings since at least Jimmy Carter, anyway, depending on what you read. Could go back a lot further than that. Some of the polls, it would be the lowest favorable rating since we started polling. His average is 42% favorable, 50% unfavorable. The lowest favorable is 35%. That's a Monmouth University poll. The highest favorable is a 48%. That's a Reuters poll. So, like I said, take that for what it is. It's just, it's just the facts that are out there. Take it without judgment. Hillary Clinton, had she been elected, probably would also have been coming in with the lowest favorable rating since at least Carter. So, anyway we did this, most of the people were not going to have a very optimistic outlook. So I know there are a lot of people who are saying, and he's not my president, I'm just going to ignore everything that happens over the next 4 years, and I'm going to warn against that. He is your president unless you renounce your citizenship and leave the country. Just that's the way he is. I mean, you don't have to like the CEO of the company you work for, but he's your CEO. I mean, if he wants you fired, he's going to fire you. Thankfully, the president can't do that. He can't just say, you're no longer an American, bye-bye. Because we wrote those protections in. So that's pretty cool that our founding fathers did that. I'm also going to say, hey, look, you got to pay attention. Because if you're not vigilant, if you're not watching what your government does, then, you're susceptible to whatever they want to do to you, and it's gonna sneak up on you, and you're gonna be an easy target. You want to see that in action. I don't know. Watch like deer. They're like kind of awake when they sleep. If a lion creeps up on them, they take off. They because they're vigilant even when they're relaxing. They've got their nose up, they've got their ears up, and they got those eyes on the side of their head so that they can see predators. That, by the way, if you were ever wondering, is how you can tell the difference between whether an animal is a predator or prey. If it's got eyes on the side of its head, it's watching out, thinks it's going to have to run. That's not to say they won't eat meat, just to say that's not their primary function. If an animal's got eyes on the front of their face, then they're charging straight forward at something. That's a predator. Humans, cats, dogs, that kind of thing. Even underwater, a lot of fish have eyes on the side of their heads, but not predators. Sharks, which, yes, I know, mammal, not a fish. Whatever, it's underwater. It swims around, it eats stuff, and most of them have their eyes in the front of their head. Okay, where was I getting? Yeah, stay vigilant, pay attention to what's going on, because it's ever more important. It's little permissions given up lead to big permissions given up. So, yeah. What else is going on? I feel like there should be a little release every time. I'm hoping that I get to ease off this once things start to happen. But at least for the next couple of weeks, I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, if you watched any of the Betsy DeVos confirmation hearings on Tuesday, you know that the woman who has been nominated to be the Secretary of Education in the U.S. thinks that we need guns in schools because grizzly bears might attack. Nothing about Sandy Hook or anything, just grizzly bears. I'm no hunting expert, but I don't know, man. That seems like a lot of pressure. It seems like it's got to be a big gun, and you really got to know where to shoot a grizzly bear, because I feel like a little something that fits in the teacher's desk is not going to take down a charging bear. I don't know. Just the physics of that doesn't seem to work out for me. She's also given a lot of money to she's given a lot of money to campaigns, but she's been a vocal proponent of school choice, which to be fair, when I was growing up, school's choice used to mean, hey, if your school was failing, you could apply to be bused to the next town, or your parents could give you rides to the next town. Now it means we're going to take your money and give it to charter schools, which are often for profit. So we're going to take public money that would have helped your kids learn and give it to private corporations that don't really have to follow a curriculum. I mean, they had some guidelines, but let's face it, the guidelines that we've been putting down these last couple of administrations are not good, and we're not exactly running the world in terms of our educational prowess and the caliber of our students. It's not to say that our teachers aren't awesome. It's just that a lot of you are being pegged into these high pressure testing environments, and we're learning facts and rote work and not so much problem solving. Makes me sad, but I guess that's why there are homeschooling organizations, and should that arise, I think it's probably the route I'd be looking to take. Just saying. Okay, yes, like I said, we're gonna try to wean off that a little bit at least once every episode, and find something else going on. I hope you read my post on political correctness over on joshshear.com. You can go to the show notes for this over there. It goes a little into the history of political correctness and how we ended up where we're at. It was actually commie propaganda, of course. You had to say what the state wanted to hear, not what was actually true. And I guess that's not really getting away from it, because that's what we're back to. And what else? Still reading books on the brain, and formulating a blog post. It's gonna be a long one. I wrote the intro to it the other day, and it was like 700 words. So this is basically going to be a short research paper on what goes on inside that noggin of yours. Okay, well, we are getting into cold season for some of you, getting into the depths of winter in some parts of this country. It is awesome here in Savannah. It's been in the 70s and sunny most of the last week. I'm finally over that little calf injury I had. I went for my first run outside yesterday in a month. It did not go great, but it got done. My cardio is lacking. I was getting on a stationary bike at the gym is not, even though I'm getting my heart rate up, it's not doing awesome it's not really pumping up the lungs. So I got to get back out there and really get back to it, start hitting it hard again. So my wish for you going forward is I hope you're awesome to each other. I hope you yourself are awesome. Do great things. Go out and live your life. Be great, y'all. Bye-bye.